Hello, welcome back to my channel. Hi, I'm Chioma and welcome to Chama in Bloom. Here I like to talk about just things that I notice in life and just how we can use these life teachings or experiences and bloom or develop in life. And today I want to talk about, being a woman. And it's so interesting when I look around the world, I can't help but notice certain things about womanhood or being a woman and how women are treated like in society or in the world. So one of the things, okay, today I'm going to be talking about some of the things I've noticed and just how I've seen the cycle play out. Because something else I'm realizing as I get older is that a lot of life is cycles. Like life moves a lot in cycles. So it's like the same thing will happen over and over again. And if it's not like dealt with, and even if it is dealt with, like it just happens over and over again. Life is really just moving in cycles for eternity. I actually saw this one physics diagram that I feel like kind of explains what I'm saying, but I wouldn't know. I don't know anything about physics. So let's just move on. So one of the things that I've noticed, one of the cycles, I'm going to be using things that are kind of happening in pop media right now to explain my point. One of the things is, let's go back to Onyeka's story. I don't know if you guys remember Onyeka with the Danish Deception. So she's been on my mind a lot because the more I think about her story, the more I'm like, you know what? We actually kind of did her dirty. Like, yes, was she making dumb decisions? Yes. But also, like, no. People have been saying, oh, if he wasn't white, if he was black, he wouldn't have been able to scam her. Personally, I don't believe that is true. I do believe that even if he was black or like a person of color, I do believe he would have been able to scam her. And the reason I believe this is because I think the problem actually is that we don't recognize it when it's a black man. So if it's a black man and a black woman, we don't see it as scamming because we see it all the time. It just seems like a regular occurrence. It's like a regular marriage. Like, yeah, it might be a raggedy marriage, but we see it so much that it's normal to us, right? Like, how many times have we seen black couples or people come out talking about their husbands that happen to be black, or even like they're both Nigerian or they're both African, something like that. And it's like, oh, they're the breadwinner. As a Nigerian, I'm going to tell you, it's not uncommon at all for the woman to be like the breadwinner, for the woman to be like bringing in the money, and the man is like, maybe he just lost his job, and it's like always taken as, oh, support him while he finds his footing. And to be honest, that's what Onyeka was trying to do. But because it's a white man, we can see how, oh, she was blinded. But if it was a black man, we wouldn't be able to see how she was blinded. We would take it as her supporting her husband because that's what is thought and that's what's expected from women, most especially black, or in this case, specifically Nigerian women, Igbo women. And as a Nigerian Igbo woman myself, I'm not surprised. Like if your parents and your if you talk to your uncles, your parents, your cousins, your brothers, the males in your family, as an Igbo person, as an Igbo woman, this is not surprising. Yes, Igbo men do like to be the breadwinners and they do like to pay the bills, but that's not because, oh, they just love you so much, they want to take care of you, they want to, no, it's for control. It's for control. And so when they're in a situation where they're not able to do that and you are the breadwinner and you are bringing in the money, they still use that as a way to control you by making you feel bad, acting like you're disrespecting them for asking them to do things around the house, right? Like it would be like, oh, is it because I'm not making money? Is it because I'm not rich? Is it because you're the breadwinner that I have to cook, I have to clean? You're not doing your wifely duties because I'm not able to bring in this money. They would make it your fault, even though you're simply asking them to do things to help around in the house because you have to work so you wouldn't have to also come home and cook. So it's like in their mind, it's like, yes, you should do all those things. And if your husband falls on hard times, you should also be the breadwinner and still not expect him to do anything around the house to help out. Let's not act like like these Igbo men are just giving you money just because they want their woman to have money. No, it's for control. And this is a thing that you see all around. Like most cultures that I have observed, they have this level of patriarchy where to them as a woman, you're not really a person. Okay, sorry, I don't know, my nose keeps running today, but just bear with me. You're not really a person in the way that they're a person. It's so strange because you see the same thing in like the mob wife, right? Like everybody wants to give the mob wife aesthetic, but mob wives are not like they're not the leader. They're the wife. I don't know how to explain. It's basically the same thing as being a trophy, right? In all these cultures, you see that where as a woman, you're the trophy, but you're also the slave. You're just there to sit down and keep quiet, right? You don't truly have any power yourself. The power you have comes from anything being done to you being an insult to the man, not to you specifically. So if your husband doesn't take an issue, like if he doesn't take it as an affront to his power, what they're doing to you, they're gonna keep doing it to you because it's gonna be okay. Not It's never because you're on your own, you have any power. No, they're only doing it, or they're only not doing whatever it is because of the fear of your husband, not because of you. Let me give you an example. Say like, and mind you, I grew up reading a lot of mafia books. Like I grew up on Wattpad. Okay. Back then, the mafia books, the billionaire books, look, the werewolf, girl, you know what I'm saying? Like I grew up reading this stuff. So let me explain, right? So the men in the mafia organization, they respect the wife because they respect the husband. So anything you do against the wife is seen as you disrespecting the mafia leader, the mob boss, right? So if you, let's say you insult her, you're basically insulting him indirectly because you're insulting her thinking he's not gonna do anything. But if you meet a mob boss who doesn't care about his wife, he doesn't care, he doesn't see maintaining his wife's reputation as part of his reputation, and he treats his wife like shit, those men will also treat her like shit because she doesn't have the protection of him in that way. That's the same thing with the Igbo men, and like a lot of girls with like in African, a lot of like African Western girls, or Western African, not West African, but like African girls in the West, or like black people in the West, like in Germany, in the UK, in the US, those people from there, and also like some Caribbean girls. There's this thing where they're like, oh, I want an African man because he's gonna pay for everything and blah blah blah. I get it. I get it. Because as a woman, you do in fact have limited choices, right? But I just want to let the girls know it's not free. Just in the same way where if you're an adult and you're living with your parents, which the African people do know, you can live with your parents. For the most part, your parents are gonna let you live with them for a long ass time after you turn 18. But you're gonna be paying for that with your mental health and with your freedom or lack thereof. That's the same way with the African men. Yes, they're gonna pay the bills. Yes, they're gonna like assume certain responsibilities, maybe if you get a good one. But you're gonna be paying for it. Baby, it's not free and it's not cheap. You're gonna be paying for it with your lack of freedom and your lack of self-autonomy. Right? Like you do have to take these things into consideration. As a woman right now, you cannot afford to be delusional. You cannot afford to just think that people are just, oh, they just want to help you so much because you're a woman. No, they want to help you because they want something from you, which is control. They want control over you. They want control over you. And some women are willing to give up that self-autonomy, that control for like money or for prestige, right? Which is why we see the resurgence of the trad wife and of women saying, I don't want to think, I just want a man to think for me. Because they're hoping that by giving up their ability to think and self automate, I don't know if that's a word, but choose for themselves. And by giving up all these freedoms and responsibility, that they're going to be taken care of financially, right? And socially, like in the public eye, right? Like by being like a billionaire's wife, and by being like a mob boss's wife, the it guy's wife, that guy, the finance bro's wife. And although I see that side, I do want to caution these women. Like I said, there is a price to pay. That price is very steep. You might not understand now because you're on the outside and you're only looking at the money. But to really understand the price, you have to look at these women that are in this situation. First of all, why are so many of them quick to get out as soon as they can, if they can? And number two, how happy are they? Like, how do they feel about their lives, right? These are things you have to ask. These are things you have to consider. It just doesn't make any sense to be like, oh my God, I just want this and I'm just going to choose that. I feel like as a woman today, you have to look at the pros and the cons of everything you're choosing. You have to look at not just the people that are selling you the dream, but the people that have these so-called dreams. What are the cons of the life that they're experiencing? Like, what cons of that life are they experiencing, right? What are the benefits? What are the cons? Like, get to reading their autobiographies. How do they talk about themselves? Look at the way their life is. I, do you see more positive things than negative things? But more than that, it's like, are you willing to do the things that they do? Right? Are you willing to overlook certain things? Right? Like with some of these rich men, you don't just give up all these things. You also have to endure a lot. Like them being talked about like you're fucking dumb. Like that's the truth. Being talked about like you're dumb, like you wouldn't know how to do anything, you wouldn't know how to survive. Some women cannot take that. You shouldn't sign up for that kind of situation then. So being talked about, being cheated on, and being okay with that, some women cannot take that. You shouldn't sign up for that kind of situation then. Being cheated on, like how is the kid situation gonna go? Not being able to make money of your own, is that something you're gonna be okay with? Truly, truly, truly having to ask for money for every single thing. And then even if you're like, okay, I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with that, you need to make sure that these things are put in the prenup. Like, I don't think the women that are entering these situations understand. These men are not just, a lot of them are not just gonna give you these things. Like, you have to have the wherewithal to know to ask for these things, to insist on these things being put like in the prenup, in the marriage documents, right? Like, okay, what happens if you get a divorce? What are the grounds for divorce? Okay, you can have one mistress, but you cannot have a child with her. Okay, you can have one mistress, but you can never bring her here. Okay, I'm always gonna have this house, and if we divorce, I'm still gonna keep the house. You cannot take my kids to meet that woman. My kids cannot meet the other one. Like, you have to look at these things and you have to understand what you're giving up to be in this position you want to be in. And also understand that a lot of times these men are looking out for themselves and what they want and how it's going to benefit them, even when they're telling you to do all these things. So like these men that are pushing the tribe wife, they're not doing it for your sake. They're doing it for their sake. So you have to also look, okay, how am I benefiting in this? What about this is going to be beneficial to me? How can I position myself to benefit? It's not enough to just get into the relationship and have everybody be like, oh, okay, she's the mob boss's wife. No, bitch, if you're the mob boss's wife, but you're not having even the little like power and money and things that you can get in that kind of situation, it doesn't even make any sense to do that. It doesn't make any sense. Right? It's just like being a CEO, but you're not making CEO money. You don't have a chauffeur. They don't provide you with a car. You're still struggling to pay your bills. It's like, what's the fucking point? You know? So those kind of things that like you have to look out for yourself. As a woman, you cannot be naive, right? So to be fair, even though I've that Onyeka story has really, really, really been weighing on my mind, and I just believe that the reality is when the man is black, we don't see it as a scam. We only see it as a scam when the man is white, because that's when we're able to see clearly. But then when the man is black, there's like the cultural thing, and it's like, oh, but that's the culture, and you know. So the second thing I want to talk about is Ace and Chelley from Love Island, them breaking up. To be honest, my personal opinion, great, 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 because it really, really makes me sick when I see a couple and the woman is suffering in any measure because of the man, and this man doesn't speak up. Like even if it's not because of him, like it just truly, truly, truly makes me sick to see a situation where a woman is with a man and he cannot do the bare minimum to defend her image. Like it's just sickening. Like for him to go on the state on that interview and say all those things and then see how it backfired on her, because as a woman, when you're with a man, everything he does is gonna backfire on you. That's part of being in the patriarchy, right? It's gonna backfire on you. It's gonna look. That's why the thing of being the mob boss is so attractive. It's like you're with the best man, you're with the top of the top man, right? So if he falls, so do you. If his reputation takes a hit, so does yours. So with him doing that, he put her in a very, very precarious situation. And like obviously I'm not in the relationship. I don't know whatever happened in there, but it just made me so sad every time to see her take hits over his actions. Like, and the fact that she was left to defend herself just made me sick. It truly, truly, truly just made me sick. So I don't know what is going on in the whole relationship, but I'm just glad she's out of it, because no matter what, a man that cannot defend you, even after his actions have directly put you in harm's way, that's always going to be a no for me. That's always going to be a no for me, because you as a woman, you're already taking, like, you don't have that many liberties. Like, you see, I didn't even hear people talking negatively about Ace. Whenever the situation came up, it was always Chelley. They were acting like she was the one that said it. Why? Because she didn't speak up. But mind you, she never even said shit, you know? So I'm just glad that she's out of there, and hopefully she's able to move differently and people are able to like ease up on her and just look at her actions, right? So that's something also women have to know and keep at the back of their mind. When you're attached to a man, his actions, and it doesn't even have to be romantically, in any type of way, his actions are always going to affect you. And do not get attached. Don't get your image attached to a man who doesn't care about your well-being, because his actions are always going to affect you, and you're going to be left taking all the bullets for his bullshit. His enemies are going to shoot at him and he's going to hit you. And mind you, he's just skating by, doing whatever he wants, no consequences, or very minimal consequences. And then you see other men come to his defense. But, you know, because of the way women are, some women might come to your defense, but other women will go to the men's defense. Because once again, women do defer to men because of the patriarchy, right? So as a woman, that's something else you have to know. When you're attaching your public image, or just your image, it doesn't even have to be public, your image to a man, just know if this man is a trifling motherfucker and he doesn't care about you, he doesn't care about how it affects you, or he doesn't even see how it affects you, that's a dangerous position to put yourself in. It truly, 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 truly is, right? Like, it's insane. It's just insane. So hopefully she is able to move on and recover socially now that they have been separated. Now, oh, another place you can see this is actually with, I don't know what this woman's name is. Let me search it up again, because I actually just searched her up yesterday. Okay, Karoline Leavitt. I don't know. She's like one of like Trump's people, one of Trump's White House people. And like, I don't know if you've noticed, but all the women that have been in Trump's cohorts, I have just been watching as they've all had to take hits simply being attached to him. That these are specific hits that the men are not having to take. Why? Because they are a woman. This does not stop affecting you regardless of what level you get to, because we're still in a patriarchy. And as a woman, you will be held responsible for the men's actions, which is why it doesn't make any sense to attach yourself to a man that does not care about you specifically, right? And like, I don't know much about her, but I'm just seeing how the women are taking hits even in Trump's group. And it's just very interesting to me, because I'm like, these women are having to endure or suffer for the sake of but for the sake of a man. And I'm telling you, this is not new. If you go look back, this has been happening over and over again. The man's his reputation is always gonna affect you. Is always gonna affect you, right? Look at was it Halle Bailey and DDG? Like, that man's reputation was just dragging her down. Like, that thing really, really, really soured her public image. Even it's the same thing with Kiki Palmer and that her baby daddy. Like, that really soured her public image, right? Even with oh my gosh, I don't know. I can't remember her name. But if you go back, like, men tend to be very, very self-serving, and women are not self-serving enough. Like, we attach ourselves to the man, and we always try to make it work as a unit instead of making it work for our lives, right? Like, looking at ourselves as an individual and saying, hey, how can we succeed? How I'll look at myself and be like, how can I succeed, right? Let's say in these YouTube streets, I'll be like, how can I succeed as a person? Not even thinking of the man. But women don't tend to do that. Women will instead try to include the man in the thing, but it doesn't really happen the other way around, which is why women are almost always left holding the bag for the sins of men. So I'm telling you, if you look at so many women, like, as public figures, this is something that comes up again and again and again. Like, I have read books, I have seen just like all these women in the public eye, and I just can't help but see how they defer to these men, and they always try to include them in their thing, and how it just negatively affects them. But do you think it gets pushed as, oh, this is negatively affecting you? Of course not. That's why we're having the resurgence of the trad wife. Okay, yeah, that's actually the third thing I want to talk about. There is this phenomenon I'm seeing where I don't know if people think that other people are stupid or what, like generations past or whatever. It's like these people that come, oh, I'm so thirsty. So it's like these people that come out and they feel like, oh, those generations, oh, I don't even know why they fought for freedom for women. Like, oh, I don't want to think. I just want to let these men think for me. Like, do you think those women were dumb? Do you think those women were having a grand old time and they were just like, I don't want to have a great time. I really just want to go to work, 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 work. I just want to, get into this grind of a system. No. Those women worked. They were fighting to have rights, right? They weren't fighting to have to give up freedom and enjoyment and then, have to work in the capitalistic system. That's dumb. That's dumb. Why would they do that? They were fighting because they didn't have rights. They were fighting because they weren't being taken serious. They were fighting because you, as a woman, you were not seen as a full being, right? Like, you were not seen as a person that could do things and that had things to offer society and life outside of a baby, which is so insane. That is so insane. Like, haven't you ever wondered why is it that even in places where they say, oh, this is a woman's place, somehow when it comes to world dominance, is always a man there, right? Like, look at the world's best chefs or the most popular chefs. Like, almost all the ones I know are men. The ones that are most popular are men, which is so crazy because they always say a woman's place is in the kitchen, right? Even look at women giving birth, right? Like, with female doctors and stuff. You will see, if you look at, you will see the father of gynecology, the father of nursing, even all these jobs that are supposedly like a woman's place. When you look at the people who are renowned in the field, it's always men. Haven't you wondered why? Like, doesn't that make you think? And then when you go back and you realize that a lot of these men that are like renowned in whatever field, like arts, music, they were being like supported by their wives, like their wives, their sisters, something like that. Or their wives and their sisters also did the same thing and were arguably better than them, but never got that renown and never got a name for themselves in the same way that their brothers and their husbands were able to. Doesn't that make you just sad? Knowing that, hey, you're better at this than your brother, but you're never going to be taken serious. Your name is never going to be known. Your creations are never going to be considered because you're a woman, right? This is what these women were fighting for. They were fighting for the ability to be able to have something of their own. So for you to come out and say stupid shit like, oh, I don't even know why those women were fighting, I don't want to work, I don't want to work, like, that's dumb. And then the very people that are pushing this message of don't work, don't take any responsibility, just pop out kids, they themselves work. What they're doing is work. They're making money off of telling you not to work and not to make any money. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It truly, truly, truly doesn't. I just wish women would just think more. Think critically about why these people that are telling you certain things are telling you that. Is it truly for your benefit or is it for their benefit, right? Because they'll say, oh, it's because a woman's place is to have kids and is in the home and da da da. By whose standards? By like by what? Because it's in the Bible? That, but then they'll also say other things that are in the Bible. They'll also say, oh, those were just the culture of the times. Well, maybe woman's place being in the home and popping out kids is also just the culture of the times. Like, so I just, this is just some things I was thinking about today. Yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm trying to get to the point of making my videos like a little shorter, less than 30 minutes. So I feel like this is a good place to stop. I'm definitely gonna talk about some more things. If there's anything you want me to talk about, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.